share some exclusive details today, right now. So in NBA 2K16, there's going to be 5 card classes. That's it. You're going to have bronze, you're going to have silver, you're going to have gold, you're going to have amethyst, and you're going to have diamond.
Yep.
Now, the really cool thing about these card classes, unlike last year, these classes are all defined by the ratings range on them. We're not going to get into the rating range today, but you should know when you're opening up card packs, you see that color, you're going to know exactly what range of rating those cards are going to be in.
That guy's going to be in, yep.
So this will help basically allow the user to understand what that card actually means, how good of a player that card is, and it will, based on his rating, will be placed in those classes. Now that's very exciting stuff because now it's going to be very simple, but there are
There's a lot of the feedback that we got was there was no definition, and so the first philosophical thing that we did was provide definition. Have a sort of ramp, have a sort of an indicator on, what does this card mean? I think with all the other classes last year, Ruby, Emerald, all that stuff, Pink Diamond, there was just a mass array of confusion, and this will standardize and organize.
Right. These also represent the border color and the overall of the card.
Yep. So in the special edition graphic, you saw the 3 of them, right?
Now we saw 3 of them, and we saw some green backgrounds. We also saw purple background on moment cards. So that takes us to our next point. These 5 cards, again, bronze, silver, gold, amethyst, and diamond, in that order. These are going to have something called themes. And Ronnie, why don't you talk about what themes are to the cards?
So themes, obviously, we revealed 2 of them basically in the infographic. The green theme, you guys probably thought, oh, it's emerald. Emerald doesn't really exist anymore. I mean, it's pretty interchangeable, green, emerald, but just for lack of confusion's sake, the green theme, which is dynamic ratings. So there are cards, and there are cards both with dynamic ratings and then things with no themes, right? So if you have no theme, that's your card, end of story, there you go. We're going to talk about 2 themes beyond just the standard cards. So green theme is dynamic ratings. Your player, as he, over the course of the season, his rating could dynamically change. So a bronze guy could work his way up to a silver guy. Think of Hassan Whiteside last year, right? He built his way up he started as a 59, and then by the end of the season he was, I think, like an 80 or around there. So allowing a card that you start off with and thinking about how the economy works and picking up a dynamic card and prospecting the future, right? How good could this guy get? If you really believe in a guy early, a dynamic ratings card on one guy could be really, really valuable. They'll still have the ratings that you're talking about, but they're gonna, they could fluctuate and oscillate between multiple.
So
multiple classes.
So you probably saw in the infographic, you saw bronze, you saw silver, you saw gold.
Yep.
They had the green, they had the dynamic rating. So let's say you start the game tomorrow, right? The game comes out tomorrow. Wish it came out tomorrow.
Yeah, let's let it come out tomorrow.
Please. You'd have a Kobe Bryant card. Let's say he's a silver, just as an example.
Why does it gotta? Oh my God.
I'm just throwing
Kobe.
it out there. So
Kobe
you have your Kobe,
been mentioned
you have
3
your
times
Kobe
already.
Bryant silver card. Kobe Captain. You have your Kobe Bryant silver card. Not saying he will be a silver. I'm just throwing it out there as an example. You have your Kobe Bryant silver card. You have your Kobe Bryant silver dynamic rating card. Every time there's a roster update push to NBA 2K16, those ratings will be adjusted in MyTeam as well on the dynamic rating card. So what this means is, over the course of the season, like you said, you could have players that could go up in tiers of classes. So maybe Kobe goes up to a gold, or maybe he falls to a bronze.
Right.
That won't happen. But you could have a player fluctuate theoretically. This is to keep the content fresh. This is also to allow updates to come into MyTeam like never before. So this is really giving you the most dynamic
roster updates, like every day can update. It will update MyTeam.
Which it pretty much was last year, right? Like shout out to Stoff and the team. One more point about the dynamic rating card. So obviously the goal is to update them daily, right? Every time there's a roster update, those dynamic ratings will fluctuate. Another really cool thing, let's say a player like J.R. Smith, who was on the Knicks, right? Last year he kind of would just stay on the Knicks, right? His photo would stay on the Knicks. This year, if he goes to another team, you'll actually see that represented in the card. So he got traded to Cleveland, you'd see that card updated, the dynamic rating one. updated to.
Tricky part about that was last year you had to wait until an Emerald card, to get him updated.
Now you have the choice. You can go get that static card, right, where the dynamic ratings doesn't apply, or you can get the green themed version. And dynamic ratings applies to every class of card, so all 5 classes of cards.
Some people might want the static card. I think I saw Smooth's video last week, and I think maybe Gento was saying, I don't remember, that they wanted the static card more than the dynamic. Listen, it's your choice.
Yep.
We have both, and I think there's value in both. And to have that one that kind of oscillates, and it's a projection, right? Like you're getting a dynamic rating card because you believe in a guy and you think he's going to get better. You buy him at an undervalue, you get him at an overvalue.
That's a great point. So it's going to actually make the auction house very interesting.
That's right.
Assuming the auction house comes back, that should be an interesting thing.
We'll get into the auction house and what that means later.
Other various modes coming very shortly, but as it pertains to my team, we wanted to look at MJ and do something special for the fans. We decided that the story of Michael Jordan stepping on an NBA court for the first time was the start. That second his sneaker hit the hardwood.
Just like this live stream, by the way. This is the start.
That's right. This is the beginning. This is our metaphorical sneaker going on the hardwood.
Game 1.
But that Game 1 Michael Jordan is what this moment card is based on. That's that moment where the greatest story of all time began when he placed that sneaker on that hardwood. That is day 1, Game 1, Michael Jordan, and that's what you get if you pre-order the NBA 2K16
Chris,
MJ Special Edition.
I don't know if you remember, and I know.
It is important to note that this card design is near final, but not final. We'll be talking about that down the road when we talk about my team, some of the updates and changes we're doing to it, like what's his rating. For example, we're not giving away his rating today, but we did, the dev team did think about balancing out that pre-order card. And I kind of compared it a lot to last year when if you pre-ordered the game, of course, you got the silver Kevin Durant card. That card wasn't necessarily overpowered just because it was Kevin Durant, right? Like his shooting, his three-point shooting specifically wasn't that great his rookie year, right, coming out of college. So it was like you had to use that Durant a little bit differently than you would use the gold kitty. So just keeping that in mind, that there was a thought of balance in mind. I know there was some people were like, well, if you get an MJ, is that going to be overpowered day 1?
At the end of the day, it's still MJ, right? So the card is going to have considerable value on day 1. But you're absolutely right. We wanted to keep that balance. We want to make sure that it's relevant. But listen, it's Game 1 MJ, right?
Yeah.
Like we didn't know that he was going to be the GOAT. It was the start of his story.
Yeah.
That's what we wanted to celebrate. That's what this package is about. Day 1, Game 1 MJ.
So that all being said, what is a moment card? So moment cards.
That's the other theme, of course, that we're going to discuss.
The second theme today.
Second theme today.
Many themes that we'll be discussing down the line. The second theme are called moment cards, and these represent special moments for current players in the upcoming NBA season. So last year, Kyrie's 55, right? The second that moment happened, we had a lot of feedback. We want to see that kind of card. We want to see that kind of content. The second that happens, you will see these moment cards available for release shortly after these moments happen, right? We're going to work with the teams to get these turned around, and these things are going to become what are called moment cards. So let's just take, for example, let's say DeAndre Jordan, right, has a game next season, and he goes out there and hits 20 of 20 free throws, right? That might be a moment where we release a DeAndre Jordan with elevated statistics in his free throw tendencies, right? His free throw ratings, right? Or Kyrie the night that he went for 55, right? His three-point shooting was out of the roof, right? Shot the lights out. You'll see elevated statistics there. So we're looking at moment cards as big moments, not just your average game. And a guy like LeBron, maybe it's a little bit more difficult to get a moment card because LeBron's just an animal, right? Like he's always putting up great statistics. But somebody like a DeAndre Jordan or Hassan Whiteside's a great example, right?
That triple-double game.
The Andre Drummond 2020 game. That kind of thing are these moments that everybody's buzzing about.
And that need to be celebrated properly.
In social, right? So that's the kind of thing that's interesting. The other nice thing that we can share about moment cards is they are auctionable. So that I want to just kind of throw out there. So as we get into more details on my team, moment cards will be auctionable. And,
you just said there's an auction house then. Well, I mean, that's fine.
Well, they will be auctionable, but the nice thing about it is and we're not going to go into full details today, as we thought about locker codes. And this year with pink diamond codes, right, we've kind of said this a lot, with the way that locker codes were, it helped benefit that user, but we also saw the other side of it, which it didn't necessarily help build the MyTeam community. So as we thought about how the locker code system was going to work, we wanted to help build it and help build and help others in the MyTeam community.
Well, let's talk about that for a second. So philosophically, again, locker codes, we're supposed to create this, buzz within our community. Now, I think there's a shift towards we want to create a buzz around these moments, and so there'll be opportunities to put them out there on those kind of days, but as long as they're auctionable, then it's going to reward people who are paying attention to everything that we do in social media and all of that. But it also rewards people who live in different time zones and
well, you can do staggered releases, right?
Staggered releases, all that stuff.
And the nice thing is, it's always going to be optional. Like if that's
totally
where if that's where locker codes fully go, and we're going to be getting into that again later on down the road. It's just something to think about. So we looked at these first details, and again, so to kind of recap, we have 5 classes of cards: bronze, silver, gold, amethyst, which is not to be confused with moment cards, which has a purple background, and diamond. All 5 of those classes are determined by overall ratings, and also
totally ratings based.
They also define the color of the border on the card, right? So I could have a gold LeBron James card, and I could also have a dynamic rating gold LeBron James card. I could have a card that could start off as a silver regular card, but his dynamic rating card might change on this individual based on how he plays during the season, right? So it can go up to a gold, it can fall to a bronze, very, very, maybe an amethyst if he just plays out of the roof.
You could also have a third LeBron card, which would be, as of now, which would be the moment card.
Right.
If he goes off and has a historic day, we would like to reward that.
The concept of new content coming in, you're going to get those via daily roster updates, or as soon as roster updates hit the game, they will affect the dynamic rating cards immediately. And then the second aspect to that is, of course, like you mentioned, the moment cards, which are going to be these special moments during the NBA season that we can kind of celebrate, and those will be available for the fans of MyTeam. So some very cool first details.
Crazy.
Hopefully that clears some of the stuff up on what you get in the Jordan, special edition, as well as the regular pre-order, which you get the 3